one here. Oh, sorry, no, I've done it again. Sorry. That was the Rimmel one. This one's deep mocha. So, matte, highly pigmented. So, what I do is I use the wax. Now, if you follow the instructions that Smashbox give you, now this one is in Auburn, which, since I'm red right now, is pretty much a perfect match for me. If you read what the instructions tell you to do on their site, probably, or even what they'll tell you in the store, is they'll tell you to apply the powder first and then the wax. And that's what I did for, I don't know, the first while that I had it, and I found it kept smearing. I didn't like how smeary it was. Sorry, I have no idea if this music is drowning me out or if you can even hear it. But I found it smeared it around. I found that if I put the powder on first and then the wax, I just kind of made a big goopy mess, and I didn't really like that. So on one of my favorite websites, Makeup Alley, www.makeupalley.com, I saw somebody that talked about doing it in the reverse order, doing the wax first and then the powder, and that seems to be working really, really well for me. And I'll show you how I do that in a sec. But there's a couple other products that you can use to keep your brows in place all day. Now you'll notice that I have pretty much no brows. They're invisible. I have not actually overplucked them. That is just the way they are. In fact, I haven't plucked my brows in quite a long time. And they're just very sparse and they're very pale. And I am naturally, underneath here, whatever my natural color, it used to be sort of a dark, sort of a dead blonde color. So that's why my brows are kind of invisible. Okay, two other things you can do if you don't like the wax route, and some people don't. You can apply your shadow and then put over top of it, you can put a sealer. Now there's one that is made by Benefit and it's called Shellac. Cute little bottle. I seem to recall it being out of stock fairly often and rather silly, outrageously expensive actually. Like $30-some for this tiny little bottle if I remember right. But you can use this anywhere on your face actually, and basically it's just it's like a shellac that will hold it in place. It comes with a whole bunch of different little brushes, and then you would put on your powder and go over top of that powder with this stuff. Okay, and it makes it go slightly shiny, which you actually want anyway. You don't want your brows to be completely dead dull, or it's going to look like you put them on with a Sharpie. Although that's a look for some. Another product, a heck of a lot cheaper. You'll see this one right here. It says $6.95, and it's, how many mils is this? I don't even know if it says. I don't know, 4.6 fluid ounces, and this is like, what is this, an ounce? This is half an ounce. So half an ounce for $30 versus 4 or 5 times that amount. No, what am I saying? 10 times that amount for $6.95. And what this is it's called mixing liquid. It's made by a company called Mehron, M-E-H-R-O-N. I would imagine they have a website, though I've never looked for it before. This is something that professional makeup artists use. You can get it in theatrical stores. I believe I even got this, where did I get this? I think I just got it at like an art store or something that was selling makeup for Halloween. And it does the exact same thing. And you can mix this with all kinds of things for other purposes. You can mix this with shadows to create eyeliner. You can put it over top of a matte lipstick and it'll keep it on all place. Both do the exact same thing, but big price difference. Okay, so if this thing's even still going, I don't know. I may have run out of power by now. I'm now going to show you what I do with the wax. So I've got this little brush. This one is made by a Canadian company called Quo, Q-U-O, and it's their ultra fine eyeliner brush. It's just basically a fairly thin eyeliner brush, and it's a flat brush. Okay, this music's morbid. Wondering if I don't like all this music, why I have it? Or maybe you're not, maybe you don't care, but my taste in music changes according to the time of day, the mood, whether or not I'm PMSing. And hello, what's going on? Okay, sounds ethnic, we'll go with that. So, what, oh gosh, I hope I'm still even on the screen here. I have no idea. Basically, I'm just tracing over the hair, or, well, in my case, it's not even hair. It's where I want. I'll see what it's doing. You know how I put those 3 little dots just to show you where your brow is supposed to start, reach its high point and end? Just from those 3 little dots. Now by putting the wax on, see how it's smearing? That's why I don't normally put it on first. I should have wiped that off before I did this. But anyway, it's a smeary mess. That's what you got. So, when you start on the inside here, you're going to go in a straight line between that first point and the second point. So straight. You don't want to curve it, because have you ever seen people who draw their brows and they look like half circles? It makes them look like clowns. The first part of it, okay, should be straight. I'm not arcing it at all. It's just a perfectly straight line to there. Now, from the middle dot, still see that middle dot, to this end dot that we put earlier, remember the 1, 2, 3, okay? From here to here, you can arch it slightly, okay? So it's a slight curve. It's not like a loop, it's, you know, and if you didn't do that, if you did a straight line here, you'd end up with a V, right? You have like a straight and a straight. So you want straight to this point, slightly arched coming down, okay? And you want to go fairly consistent in width, actually. Like it's a bit of an optical illusion because as it curves down, but you want to start wide and go slightly narrower to that point, because that's just the wax. Unfortunately, it looks like I've just done a messy job of the shadow because it's smeared with what I had on there, but normally you would not even see that wax. It would actually just be invisible. Okay. Now I've got for the powder part, I'm using again by Quo, Q-U-O, the Canadian company. You can use whatever. You can use MAC, you can use whatever brushes you like. But it's an angled, what do they call this? I don't even know what they call it. Liner brow. Oh, well, what do you go? So it's a brow brush or a liner brush. I had some by MAC that I didn't actually like because I like them to stay really thin. I don't want them to flare out. Do I have another brush here? Like, I don't want it to go poofy. I don't want it to flare out. I want it to stay like a nice, fine, thin point. And I found that the MAC ones were too fluffy. So I've never been a fan of their brush for that. Okay, so I'm just gently sort of tapping it in here. And I'm going to start to just go over the wax with thin little brush strokes. Okay, you don't want to go like a solid line. Again, it's going to look like a Sharpie. It's going to look like a felt pen, okay? You just want to do short little kind of strokes like so. Ooh, police, Sting. You know that I met Sting? On my, ow, my foot's asleep. There's a picture of me with him on my Facebook page. I was backstage at his concert when they launched the world tour of the Police last year. Hey, Steady. Hey, bum, don't jump. Oh, God. Okay, he's jumping up. Okay, then sit. He's probably not even in frame. Sit. Good boy. Okay, try not to knock this over. Oh, my foot's asleep. Okay. So, now the other thing too, this is probably too loud, huh? Don't worry about making each side exactly the same, because nothing in nature is absolutely perfectly symmetrical. Now, granted, you don't want, you don't want one to go like straight up, and you don't want one to go down. I mean, you want them in the basic same shape, but don't stress about them being identical, okay? Okay. So, I've gone in a straight line to that point, and then same thing, arching down. I hope I'm in frame. Can you guys see me? In frame. Say that like I'm some kind of director, like I even know what I'm talking about. Okay. So, and then so I'm starting the curve right at that little top point there. Voila! Now, I have to hold this up in front and see if I'm even vaguely symmetrical. Yeah, that's it. That is it. I'm done. And then you can, if you want, you know, you can play with how thick. I think this side might be a little thinner or thicker. You can play with it. Okay. Oh! I'm just going to see that he's batting me for attention. No. Who needs kids when you got a 5-year-old for a husband and, okay, and a dog and 5 cats. That's it. Done. lesson on brows. Now, as for plucking, 'cause some people might say, oh, it's easy because I don't have, you know, I don't have like tons of hair, like, you know, I don't